Hi, my name is Katherine Eichinger. I am a graduate student in the lab of Carrie M.B. at the University of Pittsburgh School of Pharmacy. And one thing that I really learned from Carrie throughout the years is the importance of using a model that's really most reflective of the clinical disease state, of those that are affected by that clinical disease state. So in our model, we use neonates because that's the group of patients that's most severely affected by respiratory syncytial virus. My biggest takeaway from being at AAI is really the passion that everyone has. I think that there's a misconception that scientists are so working in their own heads that it's difficult to relate to them, but I think that that's misguided, and I think listening to everyone, their sole intent is to really figure out what's happening in these disease states and trying to make a difference for everyday people who suffer from those diseases. I got into immunology. It's a bit of a winding trail. So I did my bachelor's at University of Michigan, and then I went into pharmacy school and obtained my Doctor of Pharmacy degree. I took a year off to get my master's in clinical research because I thought that it would be really useful to have that background and actually be able to perform my own clinical research. After I graduated from pharmacy school, I did a residency, and so I was actually doing clinical practice, but I was more interested in like the in-depth mechanism of why all these things were happening to people, and so I decided to go back to school and focus my research on immunology. My favorite thing about immunology, and probably one of the most frustrating things at the same time, is everything's very circular, and so as soon as you think you have one thing figured out, something else comes around and affects that and changes how you think about it, but it's what keeps it really interesting. Probably the one bit of advice that I think you always hear from senior people is that to never hold on to the expectation that like once you get past this point, it's going to be easier. It never gets easier, it just gets harder and harder. That's something I've definitely realized even in my own life from the aspect of I have 2 children, and so doing graduate school, when you have 2 children, everything's exponentially harder. And so, so just keeping that in mind and trying to work as efficiently as I can has served me fairly well.